Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on the YouTube account and we are going to be looking at the Temporal Rift. That is right, the Rift is finally up again. And overall, this is a place where you absolutely want to farm. I want to run through here and kind of break it down. Now, if you did any purchases in the AFK Arena, you can see you do pick up some extra essence out of here. So looking at your space essence, you do get quite a bit of extra in here. You also do get some Medal of Courage, which is what is going to be earned within the Temporal Rift. And of course, the Fountain of Time, this is the other place that you really collect all of those resources. And of course, you do want to build up levels. So there are a lot of levels as you're going through here. So looking at our beacon, the trade enhancer that you see right here is literally the only thing that you want to build. Even if you're pay to win, if you're free to play, it's very easy to go through here with going through and just building out this trade enhancer. Now, I know a lot of players had said that when they were building this out, they got to level like 295. Some of them and a lot of older players have hit level 300 even as a free-to-play player because, of course, you do have 90 days. Now, it is a very, and I'm going to have to adjust my camera here, but it is a very, very long event. You have 90 days. What you have to be doing in here is coming in and farming this out as much as possible. And I'm hoping the teams that we actually used in the last Temporal Rift, we can do the exact same. Now, of course, with formations, because we fixed them and we changed them and we did all this other stuff, we actually do have to set some new formations in here. So you can go in with a couple different formations and really a couple different build outs. Rem and Ulna work incredibly well. That's one that I'm going to drop in here right now. The combination of Rem and Ulna, of course. Now, Ulna is going to keep Rem alive. Rem can go ahead and do the ultimate ability. Then we think of big picture, looking at a hero that, of course, is going to provide you an instant crowd control, going to make a really big difference in there. You can also run a hero like Palmer. Again, that is going to work very, very well within this formation. And you could put an SP hero in there. You could put one of our Awakened heroes just to get the SP effect. You could put Demia in there. There's a couple different formations that you could actually run in here to really make it really worthwhile. I ran Brutus in here, and I think I'm going to put Brutus in here this time as well. Simple fact that Brutus is very, very hard to kill. He does a lot of crowd control, which of course we have crowd control with Brutus, with crowd control on top of Amelia. And then looking in here, you do have the Cloud Tempest, which of course is going to summon enemies in half of the battlefield. And then, of course, Meteoric Rise, which, of course, the ultimate ability is going to do more damage. Now, this one I'm actually going to choose because we are stunning them on place, and then we know that Rem is going to go over there. We know that Brutus is going to go over there. This is one of the big ones to put in here. So I'm going to go ahead and build this formation out. Now, of course, you can set this, and we know this has changed within the beckoning place. You always want to go path of least resistance. That is the way that you want to run this. So anytime that you have the ability to look at the beckoning place, anytime that you essentially, and look at this, guys, they're at plus 40 signature items at here. But also, when you're going in here, if you have a Grievous Realm or a Realm of Exploration, it is going to be the Realm of Exploration. Again, you always want to go to the easiest path that you have. Now, of course, you can see this was a formation that we're actually running. I'm going to drop a few in here. Boom, we'll go ahead and equip that up. We'll put some crowd control, and then I'm going to throw Brutus down here. Of course, Brutus does add that Mountain Strength SP effect. And in here, you can run a couple different beasts. You know what? The Wing Lion will do well just for the overall build. Now, in here, of course, we can go through and we can auto battle, which I'll show you in just a minute. But going through here, you can see we have the Tempest, the Thunderbolts essentially on the enemy side, which is exactly where we want it. And we know that Rem is not going to die at this game mode because of how early it is. Now, of course, when we're going through the auto, it will pick out essentially the first little relic that you get in there. And then after that, it will always go to leveling up the relic. So looking at the challenge though, in the auto battle, this was the change that they did, was right here. Stop after reaching the beckoning place. So you can actually make it stop after the beckoning place does show up. I'm going to leave that off. Stop when the heroes die. I'm going to leave that off. And we are just going to go through and we are going to skip these battle animations. Now, again, when you're thinking of early and making progression in here, this is really what you want to do. You want to farm up all the towers that you can. When you start getting to the boss modes, you have to make sure, and usually for a majority of players, they will run the Awakened version of Belinda. Even if you have Scarlet in there, very, very big burst heroes are going to make a difference when it comes to the boss modes within this game mode specifically. And of course, having the survivability. So a lot of times when we get to the boss modes, if we run one primary damage dealer, whether it be Scarlet, the Awakened version of Athalia, the Awakened version of Belinda, does incredibly well with some buffs behind it, making sure again that we're maximizing our damage out of there, but also putting in 1 or 2 support heroes, possibly even 3 support heroes to actually get through the content or get through this really well. Now, of course, we know that they added the Draconic Scrolls in here as well. So 100% you absolutely want to be farming those out. And I want to run through the shop, and you can see this does run kind of the path of least resistance. Going through here, they do make it pretty easy to get through here. And I want to hop over. I want to grab some teams that we can actually see in here. But overall, when it comes to the build, and it's very interesting because when it comes to these teams, here's our first boss right here, which is Torn. Doing a lot of damage to this boss specifically, because if you're not doing enough damage, you'll actually see that he will be very tough to kill. If he gets the bone spikes up, very, very hard to kill. But looking at some of the resources that we're getting out of here, which is what I want to look at, and you'll see again, they focus on upgrading the badge versus swapping your divine seals out of there. Let's go in the Grievous realm because that is going to be the easier one. But looking at the loot we're getting out of here ourselves, every 5 floors is giving you loot. And then, of course, when you get a little bit further down here, we have our Draconic Scroll. So as of right now, you can see we can go through 100 floors. Then we have 7 more days. It released some more. And then, of course, a little bit further, you have 13, you have 20, 27. So 55 days. So we are talking almost 2 months. That is right, almost 2 months to get through here when it comes to progression, because essentially once the new floors unlock, pretty much every week, you'll have the ability to come through here and actually build out quite a few floors. Now, again, with the formation changes, I don't like how they did this, and you could really go through here and build a couple formations. Let me hop in here and we will build out a few, and then I'll run through them. All right, guys, so let's run through these Temporal teams. Now, I just dropped a few in here, and overall, these do incredibly well. This is a combination, and of course, because you do have a lot of buffs in there, you also do have the badges and everything else. So I'm going to run through the 5 teams that I'm using in here. Now, one of the pain in the butt things is because all of these teams are together, it doesn't let me add them together. So I actually have to do them individually when we're going through there. First one we look at is the Awakened version of Belinda. We do have Rowan in here, we have Ivan in here, we have Palmer in here, and then we have the original version of Aziz. Now this, of course, is really just based on the Awakened version of Belinda really ulting. Now, of course, you could use Rosaline in here to go ahead and increase the ults. We have the Panda in here for the crowd control, also for the bamboo effect that they provide. But overall, when you look at the amount of support we're running in here, it works incredibly well. When you're putting those badges behind it, again, you are going to have some very, very strong teams to push through pretty much all of the content within the Temple Rifts. And this is teams that I've actually ran through the entire Temple Rift all the way to 300 plus floors. Looking at number 2, it is the Awakened version of Shamira. Now this differs a little bit than we see with like the PvP formation. Even looking here, we have Demia in here, we have Halos in here, we have Lavatoon in here, and we have the Awakened version of Solus. So very similar to what we seen in that very first formation. We do have 4 support heroes in here. Of course, Demia is not going to let anyone die. We also run the Savage Souffle in here. Again, really, really important for some of these heroes to be together. But when you start breaking out some of the support heroes, even if you had a few different ones in here, let's say you had Nyla in here, you had Nevi in here, there's a lot of different support heroes if you didn't have Demia or Lavatoon that you could actually swap in here that will work well. Joan will work well, Silas will work well. Overall, a lot of heroes that work incredibly well within this formation. Looking at formation number 3, this is Brutus and it is Lucilla, and of course, run with Liberta. Now this, of course, the combination of those two run together is huge because essentially if Liberta takes fatal damage, Lucilla is going to protect it. If Lucilla dies, she's going to go ahead and resurrect. And of course, the Awakened version of Laika going to be the SP effect to bring us all in a little bit later. Naruko in here with Nadia, not only the damage, but also the defensive aspect and the buffing. Nadia is very, very strong. One of the top reasons why Naruko is actually in that SS classification because she is very strong. Then, of course, like I said, we do have Laika in here again. Burst damage-wise at the very beginning of Temple Rift can actually kill a target. It kill multiple targets out before they even get started. Looking at our 4th formation, like I was saying, this is Ulna, Rem in combination with Amelia. They're the ones that run together perfectly. Now you can see that they're running Sophia in here, and we do have Merlin in here, Merlin for that mitigation. Sophia, of course, as a very strong support shielding hero, works incredibly well. We are also running the Rock Lizard in this formation. Again, because this is focused entirely on Rem's damage, really the crowd control and Rem doing damage, we have to keep Rem alive. And that, again, is super important when it comes to this formation. And then looking at number 5, we do have the awakened version of Lucius with Aethys in here. Now, Aethys is really, really broken when it comes to a tank. And of course, you could probably even swap a few in here. Again, thinking of Trishea. Dropping out Trishea, I would possibly even put Nyla in here if you have her built. Again, when you think about damage, when you think about crowd control, when you think about even crowd control running with the awakened version of Lucius and Aethys and the Ice Crown, as you can see the pet in here, it is super, super broken. So we have crowd control with Tamarisk, crowd control with Aethys, crowd control right here with Nyla, and then of course the awakened version of Athelia just does burst damage like insane. And then Lucius, of course, does a considerable amount of damage. So those are the 5 teams that I'm running. Like I said, coming over to the Rift, this is kind of one of the pain in the butt parts is when you're coming in here. So we can even try again and rewind. When you look at the configuring the formations with the new layouts, it doesn't let us use just the first team. It makes us go through, and you can see we have to have so many, well, essentially 4 teams or 20 hero slots that are available to even use those. So we have Rem, we have Alno, we have Amelia, and I'm going to swap this team out. So I'm going to drop Sophia in here. So let's actually put Sophia in there, just like we seen. And then this one, I'm going to swap over to Merlin. Brutus would work incredibly well, but let's go ahead and I'm going to still, you know what? I'm going to stay with this one right now. So let's go ahead and fight. So we did the reset on here. Again, just kind of playing around with it. So of course it takes us back to floor number 1, but dropping in our team in its entirety right here. And then of course, swapping out our beast, we are going to drop the rock lizard in here. And this is going to auto battle. And this essentially is going to auto battle because of course we did the rewind to change the formation in here, but we should be able to get through. And I'm thinking probably at least the first 100 floors just with 2 teams that we have in here. Because again, not only having the heroes built, but having the ability to actually go in there and build out these badges or build out the seals, build out the badges, works incredibly well. And again, you have to be pushing this through as much as possible. I cannot stress it enough, guys. The further that you make it, the earlier that you make it, going through the Temple Rift, it gets much easier going through the content, making sure, again, that you're going through here and you're pushing these every single day. You should go through, you should use all your rewinds, you should use all your attempts. Hopefully, best case scenario as a free-to-play player, you will actually go your 100 floors. You will stop at that 100 floors. That is going to be essentially you have 7 days to build up your resources until you start continuing. And you can see, guys, like we were talking, path of least resistance, very, very easy to get through here. With kind of how it's built now, it does work very well, and it's pretty easy to go through here. Again, not super difficult, even if you're an older player. If you're brand new to AFK Arena, this mode could be kind of a struggle because you're kind of lacking the heroes. Similar to what we see with the towers in different places, could be a little bit more of a struggle. But if you've been playing AFK Arena for a little bit, usually it's pretty easy to get through here. I even always got through here with my free-to-play account. So, all right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.